Hey guys, Gino back with another video. Today's video was we're going to get into the UK fuel shortage. I was just reading this article. I thought it'd be something kind of interesting to talk about for a couple of minutes. Before we get into it, it's not financial advice, not life advice, just my opinion. Not saying I'm right or that Barney Davis, who wrote this article, is right, but it just seemed interesting. I've heard a lot about it, about all these queues over in the UK and what's actually going on with their fuel shortage, because it's not really a worldwide thing, so it was interesting to hear that it's just happening in the UK. So we'll just get straight into it, but please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the video with your friends, go back and look at our other videos. We've got loads of interesting stuff up in the last few months, so yeah, we'll get straight into it. So Barney Davis is the author of this article, and ministers have called on people to stop panic buying petrol. So basically what's been going on over in the UK at the moment is this kind of carry on, all these queues and queues of people panic buying fuel because they heard that there's not going to be any fuel left in the country. And actually the main reason for this is actually not a lack of fuel, but it's a lack of truck drivers, HGV drivers, and it is partially down to Brexit. So if you just look here, there is no issue with the amount of fuel going through refineries. Oil giant ExxonMobil, which operates Esso forecourts and runs the UK's largest refinery, said it is operating as normal and has strong supply to distribution sites, which shows that it's not a fuel problem. Sorry, no fuel available. What are the causes of these problems? Global HGV driver shortage has left logistics firms scrambling to fulfill deliveries. Before the fuel issue arose, supermarkets had been warning for months that deliveries were struggling to get through. The government attempted to take a firm line, saying companies should be training up British drivers rather than relying on EU ones, as they had done before. However, logistics firms pointed out that training takes several months, and the DVLA had a huge backlog of people wanting to take a test. This comes down to, as well, with COVID, there was a lot of these test centres were closed, and there was a massive delay and backlog. That was worldwide. We've seen it in Ireland too, with driving tests and stuff like that weren't happening, so this also had a massive backup on it. But it's interesting, this is the part I found interesting, because the UK voted for Brexit, they voted to leave the EU. They've seen some short-term benefits with being able to open up their country earlier and doing a few things like that. When the vaccines first came out and the EU were trying to make decisions on it, the UK just bought them all. So they were able to get vaccines a lot faster than EU countries. But if you look here, so the HGV shortage is global, but the UK has felt the pain more acutely because thousands of drivers from the EU left the country during the pandemic and did not return. Brexit rules prevented them from taking up vacant positions. The Road Haulage Association estimated last month that 14,000 EU drivers left during the pandemic, and only 500 of these are returning. That's 13,500 drivers that aren't planning on returning to the UK. So some argue that being part of the EU meant wages in the sector were depressed for several years as supermarkets squeezed suppliers. What other factors? COVID-19 closed HGV testing sites, causing a backlog in these looking to take the test. There's also an ageing workforce, and the long hours with low pay compared with rates elsewhere in Europe have also contributed. It is a tough job. I know a couple of guys who do truck drive on the continent and stuff like that, and anyone who does it seems to love it, but it sounds tough, like you're sleeping in trucks. I know their pay isn't that great. Well, that's about to change. Their pay is going to shoot up huge. Where there is demand, there is money. So these guys are going to just have to start getting paid, and when they start getting paid, this will fix all the issues they're having. So forecourt owners will be hoping the initial rush to the pumps will soon ease and supply can get back to manageable levels. Operators have suggested that drivers can only stock up on a limited amount of fuel. This should allow the shortage to subside more quickly than supply problems seen at supermarkets at the start of the pandemic. I think they're limiting it to £30 per person when they're getting fuel now. So will fuel shortage remain long term? It's unlikely, although some have said the government was too slow to deal with the HGV driver shortage. Several changes have been brought in, which ministers hope will streamline the process and get more drivers qualified and on the road. The sector already started paying drivers more and signing on bonuses, but some warn this could eventually lead to higher prices for consumers as business pass on the increased cost. This is very common to see this happen. As I say, it's a supply and demand issue. So there's a demand for HGV drivers and they don't want to pay them enough, and they've been making offers. I was reading a couple of different offers that they're making them, like there was one company in the UK were offering a £3,000 sign-on bonus, and then if you're still there in a month, another 1,500 bonus, and people were refusing it. drivers were refusing it. They think they need more, and they're probably right. It's very interesting to see something like this. You don't see stuff like this happen very often, especially over in Ireland or the UK or anything like that. They've taken an interesting approach. In, like, you can see it's the same people that bought too much toilet roll and bought too much bread that are out there, they're filling up their cars and filling up jerry cans and stuff like that to try and make sure that they have enough fuel. And it's a selfish thing really, but at the end of the day, that's the way people are. So it'll be interesting to see how the UK recover from this, and it'll be interesting to see the uptake in the wages that they're going to pay the drivers. I think the average driving wage was like £35,000. That could go up £60,000-70,000, or could go more. It's very hard to say what way it's going to go. It'll be really interesting. Like so HGV drivers UK shortage. See what the BBC have to say about it. The government is introducing temporary visas for 5,000 fuel tanker and food lorry drivers to work in the UK as they run up to Christmas. Like, coming up to Christmas as well, that's another thing. This is going to something that has to be sorted fast. Road Haulage Association surveys members estimate there is now a shortage of more than 100,000 qualified drivers in the UK. Yeah, it does not sound good. It doesn't sound good for the UK. It is interesting that it's only happening there. They voted to leave the EU, and things like this would be backed by the EU if there's an issue was to arise. So they will have to make their own way out of it. But eventually, I suppose people are just going to have to get paid. It's not an easy job to do, and not anyone can do it. So they're just going to have to pay. They're going to have to pay the guys and girls that are out there driving the trucks. So guys, look, it's only just a quick article I read. Thought it was interesting to hear a little bit about it. People who didn't look into it would have probably thought that it was just a lack of fuel, but when you really look at it, it's very interesting to see that it is actually a lack of drivers to deliver the fuel. And it'll be interesting to see what the UK do about it and how they plan on fixing it. So guys, thanks very much. Just a very short video there on that topic. Really appreciate you watching. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share with your friends, and we'll have another video out for you during the week. Thanks very much guys, and stay safe.